Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we are starting another new chapter. The name is The Story of an Invitation. Hope you will enjoy it because it's very interesting. It's the story of two friends who started their friendship from a hostel when they got admission together. And they got same room, means they were roommates. And when you will read the lesson, then you will tell me, or you will decide what is it about. Like two friends, how they help each other. They were totally different from each other. It's written by Lucy Maud Montgomery. She was also a novelist, and she was born in 1874 and died in 1942. She was a Canadian author, and she has 20 novels, 500 short stories and poems to her credit. Her mother died when she was too young, so she was brought up by her maternal grandparents in a very strict environment. Like she was not allowed to move anywhere freely. They would keep strict check on her. She had no brother or sister, and in her isolation, as she was alone, no one with her, so she took advantage of that and created many imaginary friends. And this period of her life gave rise to her creative talent, means whatever her abilities and talent, God gifted abilities were there, she made use of them. She worked as a teacher and had plenty of time. Like she had a lot of time. She was a teacher. As teachers don't have time, but still she had a lot of time. What she did? To write stories that were published in various magazines and newspapers. And the story is very interesting, easy to read. Let's start what it says. Create a situation in your mind when you are going to read it. Meanings are given, a lot of meanings on the top of the page. Other than that, I have 22 other than these given to you. So with part of speech, and it's used in sentences at the end. Let's start. The story of an invitation. It's the story of two friends. One was Bertha Sutherland and the second was Grace. Bertha Sutherland hurried home from the post office and climbed the stairs of her boarding house to her room on the third floor. Boarding house means hostel. Like she climbed quickly, went to her room, which was on the third floor. Her roommate, Grace Maxwell, like these are the full name, then later on they have used Grace and Bertha shortly, was sitting on the divan by the window. Divan is a part of furniture, backless sofa you can call it, looking out into the twilight. A year ago, Bertha and Grace had come to Dartmouth to attend the academy and found themselves roommates. Dartmouth is a city in Canada. Bertha was bright, like they were totally different from each other. Bertha was bright, pretty and popular, the favorite of her classmates and teachers. And how was Grace? Grace was a grave, quiet girl. Grave, serious. Dressed in mourning. Mourning, they dress like black, brown, means which is worn on sad occasions. It means dull colors she would wear. She was quite alone in the world. She had no, like, it seems like the writer has picturized herself in the story. As she was also alone, she had no brother and sister. So this character, the character of Grace, she has depicted herself in that. The aunt who had brought her up having recently died, like she had no parents, brother, sister, she was alone in the world. The only aunt she had also recently died. At first she had felt shy with bright and brilliant Bertha, like she was depressed because her friend was brilliant. She was the favorite of all her friends and teachers, so she would feel shy in front of her. But they soon became friends. Is her attitude, her behavior of her friend Bertha, she didn't make her feel that she is better than her. So they became friends, and the year that followed was a very pleasant one. Means their friendship got deep and they were happy with each other. It was almost ended now, for the terminal exam had begun, and in weeks' time the school would close for the holidays. Like 1 year passed, they passed together, they spent time together. Now term exams were going to start and they were going to go to their homes for preps, and the school would close for holidays. Have some chocolates, Grace, said Bertha gaily. Gaily means happily. Like Bertha offered her, lo, have a chocolate. I got such good news in my letter tonight that I felt I must celebrate it fittingly. Fittingly? Well, like she says, like I have got a letter from my aunt and the news is too exciting that I want to celebrate, and that celebration was that she offered her a chocolate. So I went into Carter's and invested all my spare cash in caramels. Caramels, a smooth candy, you know, you use that. She says that whatever I had, I spent in buying caramels. It's really fortunate the term is almost out, for I am nearly bankrupt. She says that it's good the school is going to close because I was already having no money. Bankrupt means when you go completely without money, means she had spent all her money, so she wanted to go home now because she wanted some other money for that. So she says that it was good to for her because holidays would be starting and then she would need no money. I have just enough left to furnish a tuck out for commencement night and no more. Commencement night means a graduation ceremony from school, college or university where awards are given, certificates and degrees are given to the students. So she says that I have just left to celebrate that. For that night I have a little money, otherwise I am bankrupt. You know, I have an Aunt Margaret, commonly called Aunt Meg, like Margaret, so she calls her Aunt Meg. Out at Riversdale. Riversdale is also in Canada. Don't you means like have you any aunt? Because she got an invitation from her aunt that when she had holidays, she would go to her aunt to spend the holidays with her, and she had planned vacations for her. How would she spend? What's your good news? May I ask? Said Grace. Like when she was too excited and she was celebrating that news, so she had to ask, what's that good news? You know, I have an Aunt Margaret, commonly called Meg. There never was such a dear, sweet, jolly auntie in the world. I had a letter from her tonight. Listen, I'll read you what she says. Like she described her aunt. She appreciated her and she called her sweet, dear, jolly aunt because she had an invitation from her the previous night. So this is the part written by her aunt to her, like it's what the letter says. Like it's a letter from her aunt, and what it says, she was going to read it to her friend. I want you to spend your holidays with me, my dear. Mary Fairweather and Louis Fyshe and Lily Dennis are coming. Like she named different friends that all of them are coming, maybe her nieces or nephews. So there is just room for one more. Like as you have holidays and you live in such at hill station or such resorts, so people always, relatives and friends, visit them in during holidays. So she says, like, the rest of the rooms are already occupied. I have one. Like, it's who says? Her aunt. I have one, just room for one more, and that one must be yourself. Like, the aunt invited her friend Bertha. Come to Riversdale when school closes, and I'll feed you on strawberries and cream and pound cake and donuts and mince pies and all the delicious indigestible things that schoolgirls love and careful mothers condemn. As you eat junk food, your mom gives you fruits, milk, dairy products, but you refuse that and you want to have Lays and such type of things, burgers. So she says all those things, like the aunt had prepared and she wanted to feed them with the food they liked. Understood? Mary and Lou and Lil are girls after your own heart, I know, and you shall all do just as you like. And we will have picnics and parties and merry doings galore. Merry doing galore means all those jobs that makes you happy or that gives pleasure. So like her aunt had offered her a lot of things, she was unable to refuse. But let's see what comes next. Like, she offered her food and picnics and parties. So for such things, girls always hurry to her aunts to enjoy. How delightful it must be to have friends like that to love you and plan for you, said Grace. Now, when Grace listened and all these offers from her aunt, she felt, because she was alone, she had no one to plan for her, and she had planned even job for herself. Said Grace wistfully. Wistfully means sadly, it's sad verb. I am sure you will have a pleasant vacation, Bertie. Like, she shortly called her Bertie. I am sure, like it's the inverted comma, actual words of Grace. As for me, I am going into Clarkman's bookstore until school reopens. I saw Mr. Clarkman's today and he agreed to take me. Like, she had planned a job at a bookstore during holidays till schools reopen. Bertha looked surprised when she listened to her plan, what she had planned for her. She had not known what Grace's vacation plans were. Like, she didn't know before what were her plannings for the holidays. When she came to know that she had planned a job in a bookstore, she was surprised. I don't think you ought to do that, Grace, she said thoughtfully. After thinking a while, she said, you should not do it. You are not strong and you need a good rest. Like, she was weak and her friend didn't want her to do their job. It will be awfully trying to work at Clarkman's all summer. Like, it will not be favorable when you will do job all summer. Means summer is always tiring and you are too weak and thin to do this job. There is nothing else for me to do, said Grace, trying to speak cheerfully. Like, she was not really cheerful, sad, but she cheerfully tried to just pose herself like that. She said, there is nothing else for me to do. Like, if you are saying like this job was not favorable for her, so what to do? What should I do then? You know, I am as poor as the proverbial church mouse. Proverbial church mouse, like we say in proverb, we say as poor as church mouse. So she says, I am too poor, as is used in proverbs. Bertie, and the simple truth is that I can't afford to pay my board all summer and get my winter outfit unless I do. Like, she was explaining her why she wanted to do job, because she had no money to pay for her fee. She had no money to buy winter clothes for her outfit, means clothes, till she does any job. I shall be too busy to be lonesome. Lonesome, unhappy because of loneliness. Like, don't worry, she was saying to her friend, don't worry, I'll not have spare time to think. Like, when I'll be busy, I won't be unhappy because of loneliness. When you are busy, you don't realize what's going on around you, and you always forget your worries and problems. I shall expect long, newsy letters from you telling me all your fun, passing your vacation on to me at second hand, you see. Like she said that you go enjoy with your aunt and write me letters and give me information how you are spending your holidays, and don't worry about me. Well, I must set to work at those algebra problems. I tried them before dark, but I couldn't solve them. My head ached and I felt so stupid. How glad I shall be when exams are over. Like, exams are so tiring and boring, and you remember all your plans and sleep and all these things when you have preps, but when exams over, you have nothing to do then. So she says that I tried to solve those algebra or maths problems, but I couldn't, and I'll be so happy when exams are over, as always students are. I suppose I must revise that senior English this evening, said Bertha absently. Absently means in an absent-minded way, like by the way she said, without thinking on that. I suppose I must revise. Like she said, she tried algebra problem, so she said I must revise senior English. But she made no move to do so. Like she planned, but she couldn't do anything. She was studying her friend's face, how very pale and thin Grace looked. Like she was worried about her friend. She was weak, she was pale, and she had no money. She was poor also, surely much paler and thinner than when she had come to the academy. Paler means like as compared to that time when they first met and they got admission, and as compared to that time, she was paler and weaker and thinner, and she had not by any means been plump and rosy then. Plump and rosy means like fair complexion, and plump means chubby and overweight. I believe she couldn't stand 2 months at Clarkman's, thought Bertha. Clarkman's means like where she had planned her job. Clarkman's was the name, and Clarkman's here shop is not used, apostrophe S, but school, shop and house are not used after apostrophe. Here Clarkman's means Clarkman's shop, who was a bookseller. If I were not going to Aunt Meg's, I would ask her to go home with me. Like as she had no house, so she was continuously planning for her friend. She was not ready to accept her option of joining a bookstore job. So she says that if I were not going to Aunt Meg's, I would ask her to go home with me. Like she would carry Grace with her to her own home. Or even if Aunt Meg had room for another guest, I would just write her all about Grace and ask if I could bring her with me. Like she was planning for her that if she were not going to the aunt's home, she would carry Grace with her to her own home. Or if aunt has another room, she can afford another guest, I would carry Bertha with me, Grace with me. Aunt Meg would understand. She always understands, but she hasn't, so it can't be. Like if she has space for another guest, she will not deny, she will not refuse, and she will accept what I say, what I wish. Just then a thought darted into Bertha's brain. Darted into brain means an idea came to her mind, and she says, "What nonsense," she said aloud, so suddenly and forcibly that Grace fairly jumped. What's? Like she said, "What nonsense," like this, and Grace listened and she suddenly jumped out and asked what happened. Oh, nothing much, said Bertha, getting up briskly, quickly. See here, I am going to get to work. I have wasted enough time. Like whatever she was planning for her, she didn't let her know. She was planning for her, but didn't let her know what she was planning for her. So she made an excuse that she was getting late for her job. She curled herself up on the divan and tried to study her senior English. Turned up means she sat and folded her legs and started studying her senior English. But her thoughts wandered hopelessly, and finally she gave it up in despair and went to bed. She was thinking, wandered hopelessly means she was disappointed, wandered moving in the room here and there, but finally she gave it up in despair, means she left thinking about that and disappointment and went to bed. There she couldn't sleep. She couldn't sleep because she was disturbed because of her friend. She lay awake and wrestled with herself. Wrestled with herself means like trying to fight to herself what type of thoughts were coming to her mind about her friend. Wrestle means struggle. As you have wrestling, what they do? They fight or struggle with each other. So she lay awake and wrestled with herself. खुद से लड़ती रही. It was after midnight when she sat up in bed and said solemnly, I'll do it. Like whatever her plans were, she strongly determined that she will do it. Next day, Bertha wrote a confidential letter to Aunt Meg. She thanked her for her invitation and then told her all about Grace. Like she had to write, whatever she was planning, she had to write to her aunt that her aunt should invite Grace also to her house. Like she wrote an invitation letter from her aunt's side and attached that with her letter. And what I want to ask Aunt Meg is that you will let me transfer my invitation to Grace and ask her to go to Riversdale this summer in my place. Like she had to sacrifice her own wish, and she said that if she had no other space for another guest, that she would send her friend in her place. Like Grace would go to her aunt and she would refuse. Don't think me ungrateful. Like don't think that I am ungrateful girl to reject my aunt's offer. Like I am just I am just thinking of my friend. No, I am sure you won't. Like it's a letter written by Bertha to her aunt. No, I am sure you won't. Like first she says, don't think me ungrateful, and then she says, you won't. You always understand things. Like whatever I am writing, you will understand me what I mean. But you can't have us both, because you have space for one person and we are two, so you can't have us both. And I would rather Grace should go. Like instead of I would send Grace in my place to Riversdale. It will do her so much good, and I have a lovely home of my own to go to and she has none. Like she wanted to send her friend to her aunt's because she had her own home. She could go there during holidays, while Grace had no home to go and no family to join. Aunt Meg understood as usual. As she was a nice lady, she understood her offer, her letter, her problem, whatever she was thinking for her friend, and was perfectly willing. Like she was willing, it's okay, she should send her friend Grace to her place. So she wrote to Bertha and enclosed a note of invitation for Grace. Like when she was going to reply to her niece, she had to write an invitation for Grace also in her letter. Now this is the part, I think it's the later part. I shall have to manage this affair very carefully, reflected Bertha. Okay, she said like she has to manage all these things, like she should not realize Grace should not realize that she had planned and she had told her aunt to invite her. Grace must never suspect that I did it on purpose. Like she should never doubt that she had told her aunt to invite her, means she wanted that aunt herself had invited her. I'll tell her that circumstances have prevented me from accepting Aunt Meg's invitation. Like she would tell her friend Grace that such circumstances, such situation arise that she couldn't go, and she would send her friend instead of her. That's true enough. No need to say that the circumstances are hers, not mine. Like actually the circumstances were hers, means of Grace. Because of Grace she didn't want to join her aunt, because she wanted Grace to be with her, or Grace alone should go in her place. When Grace came home from her history examination that day, Bertha told her the story and gave her Aunt Meg's cordial note. Cordial note means whatever she has warmly written to her and she had invited her. You must come to me in Bertha's place. See, this is the part written in the letter from aunt. Wrote the letter. The letter means the Aunt Meg's. I feel as if I knew you from her letters. Like as we say, pen friends. In her absence, Bertha had discussed her. So she said, aunt said that I feel as if I knew you from her letters. Like Bertha had mentioned her so many times, so she already knew her. And I'll consider you as a sort of honorary niece. Like it will be an honor for me. I'll deal you as my own niece. And I'll treat you as if you were Bertha herself. Like I would treat you, like this was an invitation written from the aunt to Grace, what she says. And if you were, okay, I'll treat you as if you were Bertha, I'll treat you like my own niece Bertha. Isn't it splendid? Splendid means very bright, magnificent of Aunt Meg. Wasn't it a great job that she wanted to invite her niece, friend also, and whatever like she said, she would treat her as honorary niece, like her own niece. So it's great of Aunt Meg. Said Bertha diplomatically. Diplomatically means in a clever way, like she wanted to make her mind and to join her aunt during holidays. Of course you will go, Gracie. Like she wanted to convince her that her aunt had invited her so cordially and warmly, so she must go. Oh, I don't know, said Grace in bewilderment. Bewilderment, in confusion, amazement, like she was surprised how her aunt had invited her. Are you sure you don't want to go, Bertha? Like she wanted to confirm how is it possible that she was not going and she was sending Grace in her place. Indeed, I do want to go, dreadfully, said Bertha frankly. But as I have told you, it's impossible. But if I am disappointed, Aunt Meg must not be. If I am disappointed means if I am not going, you should not refuse her invitation. You must go. You must go, Grace, and that's all there is about it. In the end, Grace did go, means she went to her aunt, and Bertha didn't. A little puzzled and doubtful still, like she decided she went, but she was still confused and doubtful, but thankful beyond words to escape the drudgery. Drudgery means tiring work of the counter and the noise and heat of the city. She was thankful beyond words, like she had no words to thank them, as that was a very pleasant and beautiful city, beautiful place where they would spend their holidays, where Aunt Megs were living. So she said it's better like to join aunt. If she would join the bookseller's job, there would be what? Noise, heat of the city, and it would be a very tiring job. So better to escape that and to avoid that. Bertha went home feeling a little bit blue in secret. Blue in secret means like she had that secret in mind that she had told her aunt to invite Grace. It cannot be denied, but also feeling quite sure that if she had to do it all over again, she would do just the same. Like she also was feeling that she had refused. She couldn't go to her aunt, and she sent her friend in her place. So, but she was not she was confident, and she was happy with her decision that if she had to take this decision again and again, she would do it for her friend. Now, the summer slipped quickly by. Summer slipped quickly means passed quickly, and finally 2 letters came to Bertha, one from Aunt Meg and one from Grace. As she was at her own home, so her aunt and her friend both sent her letters. And what the letter says, "I have had a lovely time," wrote the letter. The letter means these lines are from Grace letters. "And oh Bertie, what do you think? I am to stay here always. Oh, of course, I am going back to school next month, but this is to be my home after this. Aunt Meg, she makes me call her. That says I must stay with her for good." Like these lines show that she was too happy with Aunt Meg's, and she had enjoyed a lot with her. Now the second letter, that was from Aunt Meg's, what it says: "Grace is writing to you and will have told you that I intend to keep her here." She wanted to keep her as her daughter with her. "You know, I have always wanted a daughter of my own, but my greedy brothers and sisters would never give me one of theirs, so I intend to adopt Grace." Like she said that she had no children, she wanted to adopt Grace. "She is the sweetest girl in the world, and I am very grateful to you for sending her here." Like she was thankful to her niece who sent Grace to her, and she was so cute and sweet that she decided to adopt her as her own daughter. "You will not know her when you see her. She has grown plump and rosy." Like before that, because of no proper food and hard work, she was pale and skinny and thin, and she will not know her. When you see her, like you won't believe now, she has grown plump and rosy. Like when you have proper food and you are relaxed and you are enjoying, so that has a pleasant effect on your health also. So when she enjoyed, she got proper food, she has grown plump and rosy. Rosy means she got pink cheeks and a fair complexion, and also got wet. Bertha folded her letters up with a smile. "I have a vague, delightful feeling that I am the good angel in a storybook," she said. Like when she read both the letters, so she got that her plans were successful. Whatever she wanted for her friend, that was done, and she was happy for that. So what's the lesson in the chapter? It gives us a lesson of sacrifice, sympathy and sincerity, and love with friends. Hope you have enjoyed it, got it. You read it once again and try to understand. Underline difficult words for you. Go through dictionary, and I am also having some of them I am giving you in the next lesson. And now starting exercise. Exercise now. In what respects were the two girls different from each other? It's clearly given. Like Bertha was bright, pretty, the favorite of her teachers and friends, while Grace was a serious, calm and quiet, shy girl. She had no one. She was alone. This is the clear difference in the two. She was quite alone in the world, and her aunt who had brought her up having recently died. Question number 2 is, how did Bertha celebrate the good news she had received? How did she celebrate? She celebrated that good news by buying chocolates and candies for themselves. For themselves means for her and for her friend. What do we learn about the aunt from what Bertha says about her. Like how you come to know how was her aunt. We learn from Bertha's description that her aunt was kind, loving, generous, jolly, dear, sweet and understanding. So perfect her aunt was. Of course she would love her. What do you think is meant by the statement, Mary and Lo and Lil are girls after your own heart? Like what does this statement means? The statement means that the girls have similar choices, temperaments and interests. Like normally when you make friendship, it means your choices, your interest match, your ideas match with each other. That's why they are friends. What made Grace wistful? Like why was she sad? Grace was wistful when she heard that Bertha had been invited by her aunt. She had planned holidays for her, and Grace didn't have any aunt who would plan for her vacation, as she had planned job at a bookshop for her. Did Bertha think it was a good idea for Grace to work at Clarkman's in summer? What do you think? Was it a good idea? What did she say? No, Bertha didn't think it. Whenever a question starts with auxiliary verb or it's a verbal question, start with yes or no and then revise. No, Bertha didn't think it was a good idea to work at Clarkman's all summer. Like she was not in favor of that decision. She thought Grace needed a rest. Like she was thinking for her friend a lot and she was feeling for her. From what Grace and Aunt Meg say in their letters, what clues are there to indicate, like which sentences tell us from the letters that Grace was really having a good time staying with Aunt Meg? Like which sentences tell us that she was happy with her? Grace was, okay, the clues in their letters that indicate that Grace had a good time at Aunt Meg's are. These are the lines from the letter written by Grace, so they are in inverted comma. I have had a lovely time, and oh Bertie, what do you think? I have to stay here always for good. And what Aunt Meg's letter said, like what expresses her lines that she was happy. These are again in inverted comma, which are actual words of Aunt Meg's from the letter. I have always wanted a daughter for my own. She is the sweetest girl in the world. I am very grateful to you for sending her here. She has grown plump and rosy. Like these lines from Aunt Meg say that Bertha was happy, Grace was happy, and from the Grace letters you got those lines that she wanted to stay with the aunt forever. So it means she was happy there. What is next? When did Bertha decide that it would be a good idea to send Grace to her aunt's in her place? How and why did she come to this decision? When she declared to her friend that aunt had invited her, she was reading her friend's face, and that time like she was not feeling happy because she felt that she had no home and no family to do for her. That's why at that time Bertha decided that she will send her friend at her own place. And second part, how and why did she come to this decision? How and why is clear, because she wanted her friend to be happy, to enjoy, as she had no home and Bertha had her home. She could go there instead of going to her aunt. Would you say that Bertha really was a good angel? In what way was her sacrifice worthwhile? Yes, I favor this statement. She was like an angel for her friend, because she sacrificed her own wishes, her own enjoyments for her friend, and she refused to go to her aunt because her aunt had only space for one person. So she preferred to send her friend and not to go by herself. Imagine that you are Grace. It's a challenge. You do it by your own. Imagine that you are Grace. Write a diary entry about one day of the summer vacation. Like imagine you are with your friend at some beautiful place, a hill station. So what do you think? Write one day's diary. What did you observe? Imagine you always visit such places. So follow this. Okay, these you should do by your own. Answer the following with reference to context. Reference to context means like say from where it has these lines are taken and who is the writer. You know it's from these lines have been taken from the chapter The Story of an Invitation written by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Who says these words? Like I shall have to manage this affair very carefully. Who says these words and to whom? Bertha said to herself. What was the affair that had to be managed carefully? What was the affair? Like what was that she had to think about? That was to plan for her vacations and to send her instead of her place. What did the speaker plan to do in order to manage this affair carefully? What did the like she had to keep that secretly, and she told her in such a way that she would not doubt that Bertha had asked her friend to invite her, but that should be done carefully. She should not doubt. You are not strong and you need a good rest. Who says these words and to whom? Who says these words? Bertha said to Grace. Why did the person being spoken to need a good rest? Person spoken to was Grace, like whom she said these words, that was Grace. And why did she need a good rest? Because she was weak. She had no money to have proper food for her. So she automatically, if she would work harder in summer vacations at bookshop, that would affect her health. What had this person been planning to do during the holidays? This person, like whom she spoke to, like Grace. What had this person been planning to do during holidays? This person means Grace. She was planning to join a job at Clark Men's all summer and to earn money, to pay her fee and to buy winter clothes for her. Don't think me ungrateful. Who says these words? How and to whom? Bertha says these words to her aunt. Why might the speaker appear to be ungrateful? Why might the speaker appear to be ungrateful? Like speaker is, whose words are these? These are the words of Bertha. As she, her aunt invited her to spend holidays with her, and she was planning to send her friend in her place. She might think her ungrateful. When someone invites you and you refuse that doesn't sound good or politeness. So she said that her friend would think her ungrateful if she rejects or refuse her invitation. Use the following words and phrases in sentences of your own. Try them yourself. Complete the crossword by solving the clues. All the words appear in the story apart from one. Which one? Okay, across and down, across and down. Try the meanings and try yourself. Then if you are unable to do, then I'll help you. At page 37, it's tenses. We are soon starting tenses. In the following, it's written at page 37, in the following sentences, some verbs have been italicized. Write out each word and state its tense, past, present or future, and simple, perfect or continuous. If it is only second form, that is past, If it takes has and have before that, it is perfect. And if it takes ing verb, is, mr with ing verb, it's present continuous. Or if it is was, were and ing verb, that is past continuous. So let's start. Bertha Sutherland hurried home from the post office and climbed the stairs. Here see, Sutherland hurried home. Hurried, it's past indefinite. And climbed the stairs, again past indefinite. So there is just room for one more. Is, it's present indefinite. There never was such a dear, sweet, jolly auntie in the world. Was, it's past indefinite. Bertha and Grace were sharing a room. Were sharing. Were, I told you was, were shows past, and ing verb is called continuous. So were sharing is past continuous. She was studying her friend's face. Was studying. Was again is past. ing verb is continuous. This is was studying, past continuous. I will do it. Will always show future, and it takes first form after it. Whenever will, shall in first form of the verb, that is future indefinite. Will do, future indefinite. She has grown plump and rosy. I told you has and have show present perfect, and it takes third form, and had shows past perfect. Has present perfect, and it takes third form. So has grown is present perfect. Complete the sentences by your own. Try them. I wonder if you could tell me. Could you please tell me? I would like. I would love to know. Would you mind telling me? Something I would like to know is. Something else I would like to know is. Dash. Complete in your own words. Enough for today. Try the rest of the exercise. These are, I think, topics for conversation or for writing short essay about that. Pick one of them. Hobbies, a favorite author, favorite film, the food they like, places visited, games played. I think you would have enjoyed the story. You have got the exercise. Please comment in the comment section and make maximum use of the videos uploaded for you, because it's time for you. You can read them, watch them at any time, whatever suits you better than your classrooms. And enough for today. Fi amanillah.